What's up, sports fans? Welcome to the Sports Opinions podcast. I'm your host, Alex Cuesta, as always. With me today, back in the passenger seat, is my man, the Lira Man, Wally. What's up, Wal?
What's going on, Alex?
Nothing. We are back here for Week 3 NFL football picks against the spread. Wally is the resident expert here, the Lira Man. Where can you find him on Twitter, Wal? Where are you?
At Lira Man.
It's that simple. So if you understand it, that's where he's at. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at acuesta30. Sports Opinions is on Twitter at sportsopinion30 and on Instagram at sportsopinions30. Visit the Facebook page, and definitely, if you like what you hear, spread the word and continue to listen. So we're going to jump into this. We're going to talk about last week. Wally wasn't with me. Just going to throw out my picks, but Wally did make picks, so we're going to talk about those as well. So my picks from last week, my locks were the Giants +3. I got a loss there. I had Cleveland +9. I was successful there. San Francisco -5.5. And then my Jets pick was Jets -3. And of course, in typical Jets fashion, they disappoint me. So I was 1-3 on the week. I'm 2-7 overall in the year. Hopefully that's going to improve, and maybe I'll start to agree with Wally a little bit. But Wally, what did you do last week with some of your lock picks?
So I had Kansas City, I had the Packers, and I had the Cowboys. I went 3-0. Yeah, I had a pretty good week. I mean, I did some other bets, some teasers and stuff like that, which I don't want to get into. But altogether, yeah, 3-0. I had a really good week.
3-0. Yeah. And if you combine his 2 weeks, because we did 5 picks the first week, 3 picks the last week, we're going to try and condense this a little so it's a little bit more listenable, not as much information to digest. But he's overall 6-2. So if you're looking for the guy to listen to on the podcast, whatever I say, go opposite. Whatever Wally does, run with it, because he's been the one that's had a lot of success. So we're going to jump right into it this week. As we did last week, we're doing 3 big games. These are the 3 games that me and Wally agreed are the biggest games of the week. We just kind of want to throw them in there because they're fun to talk about, and usually the biggest games are the most difficult one to pick. So when we get them right, it just feels pretty damn good. Big games that we had this week are Saints versus the Falcons. That's sitting at Falcons -3. 49ers versus the Chiefs. That's Chiefs -6.5. And Steelers versus the Bucks. Steelers -1. We're going to start with Saints Falcons. Falcons sitting at -3. Saints haven't been able to get a semblance of offense going. Falcons seem to find it last week. Saints have looked really, really bad. Falcons are home. A -3 is basically a 0 line because the home team gets 3.
Yeah.
In a divisional matchup, do you think this line's fair? Or do you think the Falcons have this one handily?
I think the Falcons have it. There are a couple of if factors that I'm not 100% comfortable about.
Yeah.
So that's not, it's not going to be part of my picks. But I do think the Falcons are going to win. The Saints, they should be 0-2.
Yeah, they really should.
They shouldn't have won. And Devontae Freeman, not sure if he's going to play the game or not. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But I like Atlanta here. Atlanta's at home.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would definitely pick the Atlanta -3. Maybe even trying to learn a little bit from Wally, I might buy that half a point down to make it 2.5. So if it is a shootout and it ends up being a field goal game, you'll still get the win there.
Exactly.
So that's probably the route to go there. But that's a game that neither of us are certain about. The Falcons should win, but the Falcons should have won in Week 1 against the Eagles. So they're a team that you really can't count on. In a divisional game, it makes it really difficult to pick.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, the Falcons should be 2-0.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Saints should be 0-2. So right there, I think the Falcons have an upper advantage. The Saints defense, I don't think they were playing that great.
No, they gave up 48 points Week 1 to the Texans. That's terrible.
Like I said, I don't think they have their defense clicking.
No.
Falcons are getting their offense clicking.
Yep.
I just think that it's going to be...
Even without Freeman, Coleman's a very serviceable starting back. So if you're going to bet that game, definitely bet Falcons. Definitely buy that half a point to hedge your bet.
I think it's going to be even... I think they're going to win by a touchdown.
I think so
maybe
too.
Even more,
yeah.
But if you want to just cover yourself, in case the Falcons do win by 3, it's not going to be a push. Just buy that half point to 2.5. So if they do win by 3, at least you end up winning some money.
There you go. So next game we're going to talk about 49ers, who should be a better team than they are. They have a pretty good defense. Jimmy Garoppolo is supposed to be the real deal. He played better last week, but still haven't put it all together. And by the way, we're outdoors in this, and so if you guys hear little things, yeah, it's not a big deal. That's the fun of this podcast. We're just sitting here having a good time. So get a little bit of realism in here. It doesn't hurt.
We got some candles going.
Oh yeah,
some nice aromatherapy.
Little ambiance.
I'm gonna set the scene for you. We got the moonlight shining, the crickets chirping.
Beautiful.
Perfect NFL Sunday betting advice.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you don't mind the dog, or maybe the kids that might run out and yell a little bit. So it's going to be, listen, if anyone knows they listen to my podcast is as raw as it gets. It's conversational, it's fun, and that's what makes it the podcast it is. So before I was so rudely interrupted by the dog, we're going to jump in. 49ers versus Chiefs again. 49ers should be a better team than they are. They're not playing up to their level. Jimmy G seems to maybe be getting around to it.
Yeah.
But Goodwin might be back and playing on full cylinder, so we don't know. He had that hamstring. The Chiefs are out of their mind. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football at the moment.
You know what? One of my friends said, shout out to Moose. He said that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP.
Crazy.
I went, you're absolutely out of your mind. But after watching that kid play, he's unbelievable. He's the real deal.
And if you remember back to week 1, me and Wally both didn't buy him. We were both like, we don't know. We don't know what he is. We don't know what he can be. There's a lot of hype there.
I'm all in on the Patrick Mahomes train.
And I don't know if you saw a little bit off track, Walt. During the preseason, ESPN did their top 32 quarterbacks, and they tiered them up. Mahomes was in the lowest tier.
Now, if you do daily fantasy football, like on FanDuel or DraftKings,
how much is he? Probably insane.
He has that's the highest amount.
Well, he's deserved it. He's set a record. I think he has 10 touchdowns through 2 games, almost 1,000 yards through 2 games. It's crazy what he's done. So we both, I think, like the Chiefs on this one. -6.5. I think that's a safe bet, considering the Niners. They should have a better defense. They're not playing that well. They should have a better offense. They're not playing that well. And the Chiefs are home. And Arrowhead is going to be bumping. So I think it might be a 2-score game.
I think so, too. I think it will be at least a 2-possession game. I don't know, 2-score. I don't know what you mean by touchdowns.
At least 10 points. At least a field goal and a touchdown.
Exactly. I think it will be a 2-possession game.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs walk away with that.
And this is without Kareem Hunt firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
So just imagine that. Imagine when Kareem Hunt gets going. It's going to be ridiculous. So we're both in unison there. Chiefs -6.5. Our final big game of the week, Steelers are -1 versus the absolutely red-hot, smoking hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Ryan Fitzmagic, which, did you hear about this? Your former favorite team, the Dolphins. Micah Fitzpatrick, the rookie, just copywrote Fitzmagic.
Did he really?
Yeah, so anytime if Ryan Fitzpatrick wants to use Fitzmagic, he has to pay Micah Fitzpatrick.
That's crazy.
Smart business move, kind of douchey move, though.
Very douchey move.
But smart, though.
So who do you like in this game?
I like the Bucs. They're red hot. They're home. It's -2. I look at the update, -2. So I don't.
No, I think it's going on at. I think it's -1 still.
Is it still -1?
It's been moving, yeah.
Okay.
While you're talking, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's still -1.
Regardless, as long as this isn't an astronomical number, with the way that Fitzpatrick has been finding Deshaun Jackson, who seems to have found the fountain of eagles, he looks like when he was the most dangerous deep threat in the league again. He has 2+ touchdowns in 2 games of 40 yards or more, back when he had 10 over 2 years. So it's pretty crazy. Evans isn't dropping the ball like he used to. It just seems like Fitzpatrick has tapped into this team's number, and it's really good for them right now.
And the confidence, man. I think he has that big dick energy right now.
Looks like Conor McGregor in the press conference.
You saw that,
that
right?
was Deshaun Jackson's outfit, which is, how the hell does he's a bigger dude than Deshaun. So how is he fitting into Deshaun's outfits? It was crazy.
But he has that, what I like to call big dick energy right now. So
who's the fucking Saints?
Yeah.
Who's the fucking Steelers? I'm going to kick all their asses.
And the Steelers they don't have big dick energy right now.
No, they don't have Le'Veon Bell.
They don't even know what's going to happen with him. Antonio Brown wants to get traded. or talks about getting traded.
Big Ben's going to
Tomlin
retire
is-
every other
Tomlin-
year.
Tomlin is losing this team, and I really want to know what the locker room is like.
I think
You
he
know,
lost the team. Remember that video that Antonio Brown let out that nobody does? Nobody takes a video while the coach is giving a speech after you just won a game. Do you remember that? He took a little live video during the speech. Who does that? If you're a superstar, that's a locker room that is not disciplined. That's something you would expect out of a Rex Ryan Jets locker room.
I'm not a big fan of Tomlin. Never was.
No, I think he
thought
was
he was
given
a
a really good team.
I thought he was a little cocky.
Yeah. Yeah, so are you agreeing at...
Yes, I like the Bucks 100%.
100%.
Yes.
This is a game that, if it wasn't in one of our big games, might have been my lock. Buying Bucks +1 would have been a no-brainer.
You know what's even crazier? That the Bucks are going to be 3-0.
Yeah.
And the Steelers are going to go...
Is it 1-1-1?
One.
Because they had a tie.
No, if they lose...
Did they lose last week? I thought they came back and won.
The Steelers?
Yeah.
No, they tied.
Oh, they tied last week. Are they going to be 0-2-1? Is it going to be the worst?
The Steelers lost last week to the Chiefs.
So it'll be... Oh, yeah. So they'll be...
42-37.
They'll be 0-2-1.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're a smart
thought
betting
that?
man, yeah, they were picked. I had them picked really high. I'm going to eventually release all my picks for the year because I haven't been able to completely finalize it. I had the Steelers winning the division, so poo-poo on my face
And
there.
they're playing in Tampa Bay.
That place is going to be rocking.
Exactly. After...
The cannons are going to be firing.
Yeah, I really like the Bucks.
So on to the nitty-gritty now. What you guys are listening for. Our locks of the week, the things that we are putting our necks out there for, saying that these are the short things. And luckily for you guys, we only agree on one of them. So, here we go. Wally, you are the man that's riding the hot hand, 6-2 on the year. Who's your first lock?
I like the Jets.
Your unfortunate soul.
I do. I like the Jets at plus...
I think
the
it's
line is
plus
at plus
3
3 right now.
Yeah.
Again, I'm always about buying that extra half point, so I would buy that half a point to 3.5. I do. I think the Jets have a better defense, and the way I figure it, the Browns should be 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think they'll start the season 3-0. So in my mind, I'm going into it thinking the Browns are 2-0.
Yep.
They're going up against the Jets. I think that the Jets will win. I don't even think they'll cover, obviously, because they have plus 3 points, but I think they're actually going to win the game too. I don't think they're going to lose to the Browns.
That's
And Tyrod Taylor, he's
not throwing the ball.
It done.
And they just lost Josh Gordon, who scored their only, I think, passing touchdown of week 1.
Yep.
So it's...
Which is, by the way, just crazy.
That he's on the Patriots now.
He's on the Patriots. I mean, what a move by the Patriots to grab him. For a fifth-round pick.
It's funny because they're the Cowboys, but they do it right. Because the Cowboys take these shots on these troubled dudes all the time, too, but they make it into a circus. The Patriots have had their successes with Corey Dillon. They've had their successes with Randy Moss, with guys like that who were type of locker room guys. They've had some misses. But when their misses happen, they kind of go away quietly. They don't make this big ruckus where things that happen in, like, Dallas, they take T.O., they take Randy Gregory, they take some of these projects, and then Des Bryant, and they end up being loudmouths the whole way out. It's such a weird, different dynamic where one franchise does it right and one franchise does it wrong. And they're both great franchises in their own way.
I mean, I'm a Patriots fan, so I think the Patriots are the best franchise out there.
You're a Patriots fan.
I mean, the Browns are the Browns, man. That's the thing. The Browns are the Browns. They haven't won a game since, 19 games?
Yeah, it's been a while. They should be 2-0, though. And it just goes to show, when you have a losing culture, you find ways to lose. And you have a winning culture like the Pats, you'll find ways to win. Yeah, they lost last week, and I think I even called it during our first one. The Pats are going to lose 1 or 2 early. They've been doing it the last few years, and then they find their bearings, and they rattle off 13 games in a row. That's just what they do.
Edelman is coming back week 4?
Yeah, after his failed test that he says was mishandled, which just admit it and get it done with. Stop. I hate that.
I don't think he did anything wrong.
He absolutely.
There's no proof of it. There's no proof. They just said they don't even know what he failed though.
There was no proof of Lance Armstrong. There was no proof of Roger Clemens.
Here's the thing with Edelman. They don't know what he failed. All right, you failed? Then just tell us what you failed on. Like you're not telling anybody what he actually failed, what drug.
Edelman was also a test tube clone made from Wes Welker that they just grew in a petri dish in like 3 weeks.
I just don't know why you don't give credit where credit is due with the Patriots.
Because I'm a Jets fan and I can't do that.
I
can't do that.
But I'm giving the Jets credit here. I think the Jets are going to win. Like I said, Browns are the Browns. Until the Browns do something, win a game, then maybe I would have went with the Browns. Win a game, and then if this was like week 5, I would say, all right, maybe the Browns have a chance. But there's no way I can see them winning a game now.
Yeah. Against the team that's probably pissed off that they let themselves down against Miami.
I wonder what the Browns are going to think about Darnold.
I mean, he does the right thing. Even when he throws a pick, he just shrugs it off. We've seen that. He shrugs it off and he just plays football. So we'll see.
Not taking him first pick. The Browns not taking him first pick.
I mean, listen, we'll see what Baker becomes. Baker's a pretty good player, I think.
I'm actually all in on Baker. I like Baker.
He has a lot of bravado. He has a lot of the right things. But we're going to get long-winded because we're going to talk about the Jets some more at the end because I do my Jets pick anyway.
Okay.
So we're going to jump into my first lock pick. I have the Cowboys going into Seattle and winning the game. The line was Seattle minus 1.5. I'm taking the Cowboys plus 1.5 there. Seattle's defense is bad. Seattle's offensive line is awful. He has nobody to throw to. Doug Baldwin's gone. Lockett's a nice player. Brandon Marshall's old and he's a red zone effective, but they might not get there. So I just think the Cowboys, they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage with Zeke Elliott. Dak looked better last week. Not great, but that defense with DeMarcus Lawrence, with David Irving, with Randy Gregory, with Taco Charlton, they are just going to make Russell Wilson run for his life, which he's been doing the last 2 weeks. I think plus 1.5 is more than reasonable. It might be another ugly, low-scoring 20-12 game, but I think the Cowboys definitely cover this.
I agree. I like the Cowboys.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna save. Are we gonna go with the pick we agree on here? What's your next pick? Oh yeah, you did like the Cowboys anyway. That was one of your locks. Oh no, that was last week. You have your Pats. So let's talk about your Pats because we both agree on the final one.
Well, I mean, they're playing the Lions, and the Lions look absolutely terrible.
They're embarrassing.
They look terrible. I think Belichick's going to go out there and tell Matt Patricia, like, hey, I'm the guy, not you.
Yeah, Matt Patricia
shove the ball down his throat.
His tenure might be short-lived there. He's not looking good. Stafford looks all out of whack, and Stafford's not as bad of a quarterback as he's played. They don't have a running game. Seems like Abdullah and Theo Riddick have both regressed. The receivers are not doing their... Like, nothing about the Lions is right. And they were a 9-7 team last year and fired... I forget who the coach was. They fired him. He had 2 9-7 years, and then they fire him for this.
Also, the Patriots are 5-0 against the spread. After a loss, they're 5-0.
And the Patriots... And
you know that's going to happen. Like we called it. They're going to lose a game. They're going to lose 1 or 2. Again, this is preseason for the Patriots. This is all they're going through the motions.
They haven't started playing the AFC East yet either.
Exactly.
When they start to get through the AFC East, they run the AFC East. That's just how it works. So that's where they pick up 4 out of the 6 games as wins, right there, at least. And just with the Pats, they do cover spreads. They are great at that. And like we said, you picked the Pats last week, but we both acknowledged the fact that the Jags are. You would have picked. I think I talked about the Pats in the big games, and I said I picked the Pats to win. But the Jags are a good enough defense to stifle them and maybe not cover that spread. So it wasn't surprising that the Jags beat them.
I want to look up something here because I think the Patriots haven't lost back-to-back games.
Has to be years now.
I think it's about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's something where they don't. You have a guy like Tom Brady. You have a guy like Belichick. They just do those types of things. So when was the last time they had back-to-back losses? Let's see here. And it's really it's just a tough team. They prepare. Don't tell me it's the 2012 season because that would be ridiculous.
Let's see here. Patriots lost. Yeah.
I think it might go all the way back to 2012 was the last time they had back-to-back losses.
Back-to-back. They had 2006, they lost November 5th and November 12th. They lost to the Jets and they lost to the Colts. And then in 2009, they lost twice they were back-to-back against the Saints and the Dolphins. And then 2011, they lost to the Steelers and the Giants back-to-back. And then 2012, they lost to the Cardinals and then the Ravens.
So that's the last time they lost back-to-back. So, yeah, it's not going to happen.
And the losses, think of, in 2012, they lost to the Cardinals by 2 points, and then they lost to the Ravens by 1 point. So, I mean, these aren't like
getting blown out
either.
No.
So that just goes to show you that they're not going to lose.
So I agree. As much as I hated on the Pats before, they're going to cover the spread. The Lions are awful. Even if the Lions come to play, I think the Pats definitely will win that straight up minus 6.5. They're definitely a touchdown better. Picture it this way. The Vegas had the Lions 6.5 points better than the Jets week 1. And you're telling me that the Patriots aren't astronomically better than the Jets and the Lions?
Yeah.
Let's be realistic here. So definitely I agree with that.
I think actually that's my lock of
the century.
I'm going to lay my child's college fund on that.
So my second lock of the week, I have the Bengals +3 against the Panthers. The Bengals have been firing on all cylinders. Andy Dalton looks like he remembers what football is for the first time in a long time. Throwing the ball really well. The weapons, A.J. Green is waking up. Joe Mixon's running the ball well. That defense is rushing well. The Panthers are going to make this ugly. That's what they do. They have Cam Newton, who's a beast. He runs the ball really effectively. He's a running back, basically, that has a cannon of an arm with some accuracy. They're going to make it ugly, but I definitely like the Bengals to cover at +3. If the Panthers do win, I don't think it's by even a field goal. It's going to be very close.
No, see, this is where I disagree. I like the Panthers. You're trying... The Bengals lost to the Colts and the Ravens, I think week 1 and 2.
I thought they won week 1. Let's see what we got here.
Let me double check here, but I thought they lost.
Let's see the Bungles. They have her in that name for a reason.
They're 2-0.
Yeah, they're 2-0. Yeah. Andy Dalton's been balling.
What I meant to say was they played
the Ravens last week.
Yeah, they played Colts first week 1, and they played the Ravens week 2. I think the Panthers are a better team.
They're better defensively, I think,
than the Colts and the Ravens.
Yeah,
and I think it's at home, right? It's in
Carolina.
It's in Carolina. After the hurricane and all that, they're going to be playing.
Do I think that the Bengals...
a degenerate gambler looks into everything, dude.
Yeah, all the factors.
I'm looking into the factor of, after the hurricane, they're going to start. They want to play for their city. They want to play for their state. I think that really has a lot to do with it.
I definitely see what you're coming from. Will the Panthers win? There's a good chance. But I think the Bengals are a good enough team that they're going to fight, and I think it can be closer than a field goal. That it might be a last-second win-by-1 type of deal.
Maybe.
And the emotion will be even greater. That's a much better story.
I mean, I stayed away from this game. I don't love it.
I just like the Bengals, which is scary because, no one likes the Bengals. But except for... my barber, actually, Francois. Big Bengals fan.
Shout out to Francois.
Hey, Francois, he wants to come on the podcast. He will be on here one time just so I can berate him about being a Bengals fan. But so we're going to go on to our last lock, and we agree with this one. Me and you are in agreement. This is the Packers versus the Skins.
Yeah.
And Alex Smith has not been able to get the Redskins right yet, which is surprising because he's a talented guy.
I think he's a very underrated.
But Aaron Rodgers has just shown the grit that we have known, and he's playing well, and it's -3. And this is one where I think the Packers are definitely 3 points better than Washington.
Yeah, I mean, the Redskins are a terrible home team.
I think they scored like 9 points last week.
Yeah.
At home.
I like the Packers.
Yeah, I completely agree. The Packers are, I just think, the superior team in every way.
Right, the Redskins are at home.
Yeah, but the Packers are pissed because they tied 29-29 against the Vikings last week, so they're mad.
It should have been a win.
And it should have been a win because that was a bullshit call against Clay Matthews on that.
I 100% agree.
He
on that.
hit him while the ball was coming out, and you see him put both of his hands down to not put body weight onto Kirk Cousins. So Clay Matthews did everything textbook. The tackle, the head was on the side, the shoulder was in the gut. Didn't lay on him, didn't put all of his weight on him. That was a bailout call. The pick should have ended the game there. So the Packers should be 2-0. They should not be 1-0-1. I think Aaron Rodgers is pissed, and a pissed-off Aaron Rodgers is just as effective as a pissed-off Tom Brady, where you know that they're both going to come out 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, just embarrass the hell out of whoever they play.
I have them on my fantasy team. Actually, both the leagues I'm in. And I think he's going to have a great game.
He's ridiculous. So, last pick, I do my Jets pick every week, and I tend to agree with you. Jets +3. I'm a thing. It's my same logic as the Detroit Lions week 1. If the Browns are a better team, I don't think that they're a field goal better. I think that the only way that the Browns win is if that defense shows up, they confuse Sam Darnold by throwing a lot of different things at him that he hasn't seen, which if you're an opposing defender against a rookie, I think that's your only goal. Whatever you put on film the first 2 weeks, if you're the Browns, you're probably going to want to change up a lot of it just so you confuse him. And you make him see things that he hasn't seen these first 2 games. And I think that to be the only way that they can win, but I think Darnold has shown poise. Last week, after being shut out in the first half, he came back and led that team to 12 points.
So I wasn't here last week, so we couldn't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But that first throw, week 1, when he threw that interception.
It was so Jets.
Oh, my God.
But then, you know what, though? The poise, though. 16-20 afterwards, 2 touchdowns.
Still, tell me that is not just a classic
Jets thing. Yeah.
First throw
of his career.
And what a sloppy throw. I could not stop laughing. I think I texted your brother-in-law.
But do you want to laugh? The funny thing is, after that, every single person commentary goes, well, you remember who had an interception on his first throw too?
Yeah,
Brett Favre. And it's like, I was like, hold the brakes.
Yeah, you can't
Stop.
You can't compare him to
Stop,
Brett
because
Favre.
it's such a different era, number one, a different generation of who's doing it, and it's a different player.
Listen,
he's not Brett Favre.
Darnold.
I like Darnold too.
I think the Jets finally have a good quarterback.
Legitimate guy who can grow.
And I love the fact that they played him.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they played him. And Josh McCown, he truly wants to help him.
And he's a steady hand, because if something does go wrong, if he does get hurt, we can put McCown in with confidence that we can have a chance to win that game. Not outright win it, but he gives you the opportunity to win.
Absolutely. But he has, he wants to help him. It's not like another backup quarterback.
No.
That this guy's playing and I'm not. He's not. He really wants Darnold to do
Fun
well.
fact, too, that I found out listening to my talk radio today. Patty Mahomes gave all the credit to Alex Smith today, saying that while Alex was there starting, knowing Pat Mahomes was going to be the heir apparent, he took him under his wing and he wasn't bitter and he taught him everything, knowing he was going to take his job.
Yeah, Brett Favre did the same thing to Aaron Rodgers.
No, Brett Favre hated Aaron Rodgers. and your best friend, Tom Terrific, got Jimmy Garoppolo out of there because of that same exact situation.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want him there.
Yeah, I wouldn't, too. I'm the same way.
Eli did that, too. I think Eli was one of the big reasons to push guys out.
All the great quarterbacks do, man.
Yeah, Montana didn't like Young. It's if you're great and you're competitive, you never want young blood sneaking up your butt. Period.
I mean, I wouldn't if I was one of the greatest quarterback to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have some
snot-nosed kid breathing up my job.
Exactly. I wouldn't want that.
Not at all. But all right. So I hope you guys liked the abridged version of what we did on the week 1. I think this is going to be a little bit better. We gave you a lot of information, little time. Hopefully, we help you make some smart bets.
You want to go over the bets real quick?
Yeah.
So this way,
really quick. Wally, he has New York Jets. He's buying the half a point going up to 3.5. He has the Packers buying a half a point down at -2.5, and he has the Pats -6.5. And my picks, I have Cowboys +1.5, Packers -3, Bengals +3, and I also have the Jets +3.
What I would do is put my picks in a parlay too. Put all 3 of them in.
Yeah,
do a parlay, small little parlay.
Yep.
Big payout. I honestly believe all 3 of those picks are going to hit. I'm going to go 3-0 again this week. That would be 2 back-to-back weeks, 3-0.
And I actually do believe in my picks. I know, Wally brought up great points with the Bengals-Panthers, and especially looking at it from the gambling standpoint, I just have a lot of belief in my picks as well, especially the Cowboys and Packers. I'm 100% on those, and I'm extremely high on the Bengals because, like I said, I don't think the Panthers are 3 points better than the Bengals the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah, and I'm not just giving these picks and not betting them. I'm betting on these picks,
and I'm the polar opposite.
I'm putting a lot of money on these picks, and these are picks that I'm confident about, that I'm risking my own money. So it's not just something I'm just throwing out there just to say it. I really like those picks, and we'll see what happens. But I'm confident.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so everyone, thanks for listening to NFL Week 3 Picks Against the Spread with my buddy Wally, the Million Lira Man. He will be back for the next, Week 3. So 17 minus 3, we got 14 more weeks of this, at least. And then we'll see what goes into basketball if we want to do some basketball fun with picks or anything like that. So, but we're definitely going to do this for the next few upcoming weeks. Best time to do it, without a doubt.
This is the best time of year. You got baseball playoffs coming around. Hockey's going to be starting up soon.
Yep,
which I love.
Upgoing.
I love betting on hockey. Hockey is very easy to bet on.
I've heard from a lot of people that it's the most winning. Yeah. You're going to win the most stuff out of hockey.
Yeah, definitely win a lot of money on hockey. Baseball's fun too, but right now there's a lot of teams that are out and they're just not playing. They don't want to play the games.
It's tough. That's always annoying, and that's the annoying part of having such a long season. Basketball does it too, but we'll be back. But again, everyone, thank you for listening. Wally, the Million Lira Man. You can find him at that Twitter handle, Million Lira Man. He will be talking about sports on there. He talks about some gambling stuff on there, so you can get a lot of advice from him there in general. As always, I'm Alex Cuesta. You hear me every single week on this Sports Opinions podcast. Find me on Twitter at @_Cuesta30. Same thing for Instagram. Sports Opinions on Twitter at SportsOpinion30. Instagram, Sports Opinions 30. And all the outlets you can find us on: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, Spreaker, YouTube. Everyone, thanks for listening. Good luck betting. Have a good football Sunday.